Hello. For my discussion, I went ahead and picked prompt number 2, the one that talks about the social contract and how much liberty citizens should give up. So for this one, I'm going to be just speaking based off of my notes on my iPad here. I watched 2 YouTube videos by this guy named Daniel Bonavac, and he talks about the social contract. He included Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Thomas Locke, and not Thomas Locke, I'm sorry, Thomas Hobbes and John Locke. So basically, just to give an overview of what social contract was, just because it's like a refresher for me, it's basically just the key idea is that government authorities are legit as long as people are willing to submit, because in the state of nature, everything is satisfied. For example, before government was even a thing, people could go out in the forest and gather food and get, whatever the case was. Nobody owned the forest. So Thomas Hobbes and Leviathan, he basically first developed the idea of the social contract. Without government, life would be hard. And it's just basically people against people without security. You could be randomly attacked on a random day. You could lock your doors and still get broken into, things of that nature. And if given accurate information, any rational person would sit there and think about things before choosing whether they want to have a government or continue with the state of nature. And hence that, going based off of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, he says here, the problem is to find a form of association with which will defend and protect the whole common force, the person of goods of each associate, and with each while uniting himself with all, may still obey himself alone and remain as free as before. So what John wanted to do was he wanted to turn force into right and possession into property while leaving us as free as before. So of course, obviously, if we're going to be making a government and things of that nature, we're going to be giving up some of our freedoms. Of course, we can't just randomly do things. We're going to give up some of our freedom, but we are also expected to meet, we're also expecting the government that we're making to meet specific criteria that we give them. There's going to be conditions that the government can and cannot do. We're not going to give them all power just for us to not get anything back. You know what I'm saying? So basically for this, for Hobbes, his thing for social contract for Hobbes was security for some liberty, and then for John Locke, it was giving up our rights to enforce nature of law for impartial judgment. For Rousseau, though, it was more of like full cooperation for everything back. It's basically like the people and the government working together as one, like a full partnership. There's a fair share of fruits. And when you think about that, it's like, you want to think about the distribution of like power and goods and who deserves justice and who doesn't deserve justice. Basically, that's where like the state, the people make the sovereign. So the sovereign and the state, their interests coincide. That's basically like Jean-Jacques Rousseau's, that's his concept. So the government could never do us wrong because they have our interests in mind, and we're working together. They're looking out for us, and our rights can never be like violated or whatever. So that's just some of the research that I got. And based off of most of this, I feel like us citizens, to be protected and things of that nature, I think it is fair for us to give up some of our freedoms, just because if we don't, there will be anarchy. People can't just go out and do whatever they want, because it's dangerous. Like without like a leader, it'll be dangerous. Things will be chaotic for us. I don't think we should be giving up all of our rights just because there's a lot of things that are naturally ours to have. For example, like just breathing, having resources to specific like foods and things of that nature, like, going back to what I said before, being able to go into the woods, into the forest, ravaging, whatever the case was. I feel like today, though, our social contract, if it's being violated, I don't want to say it's being violated, but I do not think our government is 100% legit either. There's a lot of things that the government should be doing for us people that is not being done for us, especially for minorities, Black people, Hispanic people, immigrants especially, things of that nature. There's a lot of things that are unfair today. I don't have a lot of background information on politics like that yet, but I do know for a fact there's a lot of things that aren't fair. There's a lot of liberties that are being given up from us people, and we're not getting, it's not reciprocated. We're not getting what we should be expecting from the government back. I do feel like nowadays the government is looking out less and less for us people, and not listening to us as they should. But yeah, this is my take on social contract and our liberties. And the questions that I have, Jock says that he wants to turn force into right and possession to property while leaving us his phrase before. He also says that man is born free, but everywhere else is in chains. There are things that with cooperation are accomplished easier, which I also believe too. If the government people are working together, things should be flowing as they should. But my question is, do you guys think that the government and the people should be working together? Do you think that we are working together today? Do you think that there's a separation going on? Do you think that the government is actually listening to us? Do you think that the government is meeting our expectations, our criteria in return for us giving up our freedoms?